LWO1 WeatherNet. Liftoff conditions looking pretty good.
ESTS is ready for launch.
Ignition. Liftoff.
Falcon 9 has cleared the tower.
Ten, 9, 8,
Side booster ignition.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon. It's Thursday, June 17th, and on your screen is a live view of Falcon 9 as it awaits its 12:09 p.m. Eastern Time launch from Cape Canaveral Space Force Station in Florida. My name is Yo Mezo, and I'm a propulsion engineer here at SpaceX. Welcome to our webcast coverage for GPS-3 Space Vehicle 5 for the Space Force, SpaceX's 19th launch this year. GPS, originally developed by the U.S. Air Force and formerly known as the Global Positioning System, is a constellation of orbiting satellites that provide precise position, navigation, and timing data to military and civilian users globally. The U.S. Space Force continues to provide this free service to more than 4 billion users worldwide. For many of today's viewers, GPS services aren't new. If you're like me and have ever used your phone's mapping service or retrieved coordinates for a location via a pin drop, then you've received information from a satellite within this system. Collectively, with the system's already operational satellites, the payload today will further the U.S. Space Force's ability to provide mission-critical global access, persistence, and awareness for our national security. Before we dive deeper into learning more about the GPS satellite and its capabilities, let's take a closer look at the vehicle on your screen. Falcon 9, our two-stage liquid-fueled launch vehicle, is in position at Space Launch Complex 40. Now, while the booster supporting today's mission is flying for the second time, today marks the first time that SpaceX is supporting a U.S. Space Force mission with a reused booster. And to top it off, this particular booster debuted right here on Slick 40 for last year's GPS-3 Space Vehicle 4 mission. Now, if you're new to our webcast or are unfamiliar with the Falcon 9, what you see at the bottom two-thirds of the vehicle are soot markings from its previous flight. These markings are located on what we call the first stage. The first stage's primary role, with the help of its 9 Merlin engines, is to accelerate the vehicle all the way to the edge of space, where it will then drop off the second stage carrying the payload. Following its drop-off of the second stage, the first stage will make its way back to Earth, where we'll attempt to recover it on our autonomous drone ship, Just Read the Instructions, which you can see there. Now, if you turn your attention to the section above the first stage and the black carbon fiber inner stage, you'll see the Falcon 9's second stage. About 2.5 minutes into flight, the first and second stage will separate, and the second stage will ignite its single MVAC engine to carry the GPS satellite to a highly elliptical orbit. Separation from second stage will then occur, and then the satellite will perform burns. Finally, above this stage, placed at the very top of the vehicle, you'll see this nose cone structure called a fairing. Inside that structure is where the GPS-3 satellite is currently sitting. The two fairing halves are safely encapsulating the satellite to protect it from aerodynamic heating, loads, and contamination during ascent. The fairing halves we are using today are new, and we'll recover them using our chartered recovery ship, HOS Briarwood. Once the fairing reaches the vacuum of space, we will jettison the fairing halves as the second stage continues on its journey to orbit.
Good morning from SpaceX headquarters in Hawthorne, California. I'm John Innsbrucker, Falcon Principal Integration Engineer. The launch vehicle and satellite vehicle teams are ready for launch as we approach T-minus 10 minutes, 45 seconds to liftoff. This is our 4th GPS launch, and all 4 have been from Space Launch Complex 40. Now, earlier today, the satellite team performed functional checkouts of the GPS satellite, and the satellite went on internal battery power at T-minus 15 minutes. The Falcon 9 team began their final checks at T-minus 2 hours, and most recently, we completed the pull to proceed with propellant load and launch. This was at T-minus